How can I help you, sir?
Rita, see the man talking to your bank manager has his case open?
Oh, that's Mr. Gwendon, one of our assistant managers. Our manager is Mr. Schoen, but he's not in today.
But you see the man with the briefcase?
Yes?
That's my partner. He has a gun in there. If you don't do exactly what I tell you, or if you give me any kind of a problem at all, I'm going to look over at my partner and he's going to shoot your Mr. Gwendon between the eyes. Take one of those big envelopes and put as many hundreds, 50s, and 20s as you can pack into it. Nothing with bank straps or rubber bands. I don't want any die packs. I don't want any bait money. Start with the second drawer and then the one over there underneath the money counter. It's okay. Come on, Loretta. Key's right there next to you. Hey. No bills off the bottom of the drawer, please. Is your first time being robbed? Great. Just smile, Loretta, so you don't look like you're being held up. You got a very pretty smile. It's the 20s. Give me the 20s. I'll take those. Those are my pockets. I had to give my partner a sign, and that's good. Now he's going to wait 30 seconds until I'm out of the building. Make sure you haven't set off the alarm. If you have, he's going to shoot you, Mr. Gwendon, between the eyes. Okay? I think that'll do it, Loretta. Thank you. Nice day.
You too.
A modern day remake of Matthew Vaughn's Layer Kick. A Coen brothers end up with Timothy Chalamet. A Citizen Kane prequel, a Midnight Cowboy sequel. Alvin and the Chipmunks deserve another squeak. There's so many new ways to revisit Sideways, but a graphic novel is how we choose to update. But we still hold fast, you can't change the past on the Ruined Childhoods podcast.
On our journey up the alphabet, our first movie beginning with the letter O was simply O, the 2001 modern-day adaptation of William Shakespeare's Othello, and is likely best known for existing alongside other Shakespeare adaptations, attempting to put a fresh spin on an old classic. Baz Luhrmann directed 1996's Romeo plus Juliet. That same year, Lloyd Kaufman directed another set of star-crossed lovers, Tromeo and Juliet. Gil Younger directed 1999's 10 Things I Hate About You. Gus Van Sant's 1991 indie hit My Own Private Idaho is an adaptation of several Shakespeare works. And in 2001, Tommy O'Haver directed Kirsten Dunst, Ben Foster, and Cisco in Get Over It, an adaptation of A Midsummer Night's Dream. But what sets O apart is that its director Tim Blake Nelson is also an established actor, having appeared in nearly 80 movies and 22 TV shows. His acting credits include Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Monster, Syriana, The Thin Red Line, Donnie Brasco, and Minority Report. In Minority Report, Tim plays a prison guard named Gideon who fancies himself a looker with his little bow tie. The 2002 film stars Tom Cruise as pre-crime chief John Anderton, who finds himself on the run when it is determined that he will become a murderer. The film was directed by Steven Spielberg and is based on a Philip K. Dick novel adapted for film by screenwriters John Cohen and Scott Frank. Although Cohen's only screen credit is Minority Report, Scott Frank has a long filmography, beginning with the 1988 undercover cop comedy Plain Clothes, and his later work includes the James Mangold films The Wolverine and Logan. But right in the middle of his filmography, just before Minority Report, is this week's film. Greetings, Starfighters. This is Ruined Childhoods, and on this episode, we're talking about the 1998 Steven Soderbergh film Out of Sight, the story of two star-crossed lovers who are drawn together despite coming from two totally different worlds. Dan, I couldn't find a clever way to link Cisco of the Thong Song acting in Get Over It with the fact that Jennifer Lopez plays Karen Cisco. Is there anything there?
Not in an appropriate and respectful way. I would
Okay.
So because if we're going with what comes first to mind, nothing that I'm going to, and it would take some ways to put it together eloquently, but no.
Our listeners can do the math.
Yeah. So Cisco and Karen Cisco. Perhaps if I was as familiar with the work of Cisco as I am with that of Karen Cisco, I might.
Well, okay. Well, how about this? So I feel like the Thong Song can be brought up in conversation with, I like big butts. And in Baby Got Back, famously, there's the line, "My anaconda don't want none unless you got buns, hun."
Right.
And star of Anaconda is Jennifer Lopez.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
So I suppose there's that.
Yeah.
If you want to like take it into a different step.
But
I don't know.
but I mean, that's not really going from Cisco. Or it's too much of a leap, I think.
You're taking a bit of a journey.
Yeah.
There's a few twists and turns.
And I can't think. You know what? I guess we should just get over it. Referencing the only film I can think of in which Cisco appears.
I want to say that he was in a couple of other like teen movies.
But like, does he show up just as? Because doesn't he actually play a character in that one? Maybe other ones he like shows up like as kind of like
he played Dr. Rupert Brooks in Snow Dogs. He played Latrell in Pieces of April.
Okay.
And a character named Mo in Surf School.
Okay. Oh, so he was in Pieces of April. Okay. Oh, I did not. Perhaps he was acting under his like given name, or I don't know.
I mean,
is that what it just says on his birth certificate? Is Cisco?
It just may. I don't know. Mark Althaven Andrews.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, Mark A. Andrews. Oh, that's Cisco. Oh, no, nothing.
Dan, this is the best acting I've seen you do in a very long time.
Well, that's good. I really haven't done any acting in a long time, so I guess that's. I had to think. I'm like, no, that's not an insult because I have not acted in some time.
I would never like insult you. I would say something that's factual.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen any acting from you in a very long time.
No, that was it. But so thank you. It's nice to know, like, I still got that muscle, still flexing that muscle there. Which I guess is somewhere. It's the funny bone. No.
Oh, Dan. Well, not all acting needs to be funny.
No, in fact, when you're playing comedy, it's best to play it straight and play it seriously. Fortunately, the work of Elmore Leonard lends itself very easily, I think, to being able to be funny without being funny. And if I can draw a connection to another, and by the way, sorry, because I'm going to talk about Scott Frank here. I'm pretty sure on the last episode, at the end of the last episode, I misidentified him as Scott Hicks, director of the film Shine, among others.
Did you?
I don't remember if I said Scott Hicks or Scott Frank, but
I thought you said Scott Frank.
I hope I said Scott Frank, but it occurred to me the other day.
Everyone check out our Posse episode, and you can fact check Dan.
I mean, also check out Shine is a great movie, definitely directed by Scott Hicks, but Scott Frank adapted Elmore Leonard's Get Shorty and Out of Sight. I think he might have done other Elmore Leonards, but the Elmore Leonard's writing, and I had never read any. I'd always kind of wanted to read his work because I've enjoyed the films based on his work. You have some info?
I'm not seeing any other Elmore Leonards that I know of. I mean, obviously Get Shorty. He doesn't have a very long filmography. I mentioned Plain Clothes, which was a total bomb.
Arliss Howard. That's a hidden gem right there.
I don't know if I would say gem.
Have you seen it?
I mean, at some point, I think I did, but
I kind of have somewhat fond memories of that as like a VHS.
Perhaps
rental.
you have like nostalgia feelings.
Maybe
for it,
I don't know. I haven't seen it in a long time, and Arliss Howard is great.
So he did Dead Again, Little Man Tate, Malice, then Get Shorty, Heaven's Prisoners, Out of Sight, Minority Report, Flight of the Phoenix, The Interpreter, Marley and Me, The Wolverine, Logan. So yeah, no Elmore Leonard.
Okay, so but by the way, that resume, at least for the films on that resume that I have seen, that's a pretty bang up. Dead Again.
Well, also he most recently, well, I don't know about most recently, but recently gained more notoriety because he was kind of like the creative force behind the Queen's Gambit, the series.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
So
Yeah.
like wrote,
Yeah.
directed, produced, like created the series. And that was a huge success.
I mean, the guy's got the guy's just, I mean, you know, an incredibly talented writer and a lot of versatility there. We're talking about, you know, Dead Again, which is a fun murder mystery.
It's a weird one.
Goes back and forth between decades. Yeah. Weird, but like it's a good one. I watched it again not too long ago. But you also said Little Man Tate.
And also talking about you know, people who love to do Shakespeare films. Kenneth Branagh.
Well, yeah,
is the,
Kenneth
director and star of that one.
And Robin Williams pops up in Dead Again, who, you know, fancies he didn't fancy himself a Shakespearean, was a trained Shakespearean actor. Pops up in Branagh's Hamlet, definitely. So, but Little Man Tate, which is a more like intimate character-based story, Jodie Foster's directorial debut, great movie there. He did Get Shorty, which, I mean, I've seen Get Shorty. I don't know what the tally on the number of times I've seen Get Shorty is, but it's one of those movies where every time I watch it, like at least recently, like the last couple of viewings, it's like Get Shorty might low key be like in my top like 20 like favorite movies.
Really?
I'm a big fan of it, and I recently listened to the audiobook of Barry Sonnenfeld's book about best possible place at worst possible time, which there's a funny backstory about that related to Tommy Lee Jones, which check out the book. But Sonnenfeld directed Get Shorty. He was also originally on board to direct Out of Sight, and but didn't, because then he was already committed to do Men in Black. Oh, sorry, Men in Black. Sorry, right, not Wild Wild West. That
Wild Wild West was 99.
99, yeah. Men in Black was 97. So coming off of Get Shorty, so he was doing Men in Black, but he still had a good deal. I listened to the commentary on Out of Sight. And Sonnenfeld definitely had a lot of
I like him.
input.
He's great.
Sonnenfeld has some fantastic stories about the making of Get Shorty that really just make you fun little facts here. And a fun fact, because Dennis Farina is in both films, is in Get Shorty and is in Out of Sight, and wonderful, you know, if ever an actor was born for Elmore Leonard adaptations.
Yeah.
But Dennis Farina, who had been a cop in Chicago before becoming an actor, was talking to Barry Sonnenfeld, and Barry was like, so when you go back to Chicago, do you get together with the cops and, you know, with your old friends from the force? And Farina said, to be honest with you, most of my friends from those days are on the other side. And he said, and Sonnenfeld asked him, he's like, are there, like, who are you afraid of anyone? Is there anyone you're afraid of? And Farina goes, Sinatra.
Okay.
He's like, Sinatra was like, no one messed with Sinatra. And he goes, and there's one other guy, and left it at that. And then one day, they were shooting, so there's a scene in Get Shorty where Farina's character, Ray Bones, is coming to the office of Harry Zim, who's kind of been playing tough guy over the phone, not realizing that he's dealing with a legit tough guy. So, and Ray Bones, you know, beats him up and, you know, throws him around the office a bit. And Hackman's stuntman was doing it. And Hackman, who Sonnenfeld has a lot of stories about, like Hackman being cantankerous and but like very professional in a lot of ways, but also like very difficult in a lot of ways, also very insecure. But so Hackman pops his head in, and Hackman says to Soderbergh, he's like, let me do one, like let me do a take instead of the stuntman. And Soderbergh goes to Farina and he goes, hey, Gene wants to do one. And Farina goes, don't let him, because then I'm gonna hurt him. He's gonna come at me. I'm gonna shoot him.
Oh God.
He's like, I'm gonna have to shoot the guy, and then I'm gonna be the guy who killed Gene Hackman. Sonnenfeld. We got Sonnenfeld and Soderbergh's here. So Sonnenfeld's takeaway from that was, and that was the other guy Dennis Farina was afraid of, Gene Hackman.
Hey, I love that.
I know. I love it. I love it. Great stories about Travolta on that set, by the way. But
I'm sure.
Yeah. Also, but so Scott Frank wrote the script for that, and if it's kind of like if you had to pick one half of that writer director team to carry over to Out of Sight, love Barry Sonnenfeld, but Scott Frank and I've never read Get Shorty. I did read Out of Sight.
Okay.
And this is a film adaptation that improves on the source material.
Well, and I heard that Elmore Leonard contacted Scott Frank and personally said, like, this is my favorite adaptation of my work, and like really, and even like admitted like it's better than the book.
He was on set.
So,
he was on set a lot. Yeah. Elmore Leonard. Well, I don't know about a lot.
I love that.
They talk about it in the commentary that he was on set and, you know, would comment on things, and, you know, like he came on even like about like costume items where he came on set one day and he's like, oh, why isn't he wearing the thing?
Was there anything having to do with Michael Keaton's wardrobe?
No.
The FBI shirt?
No, they didn't talk about that. They just talked about how like Soderbergh contacted Tarantino about it, and Tarantino actually like had Soderbergh come in, and he showed, because Michael Keaton cameos in Out of Sight as FBI agent Ray Nicolette, who is a more central character in Elmore Leonard's novel Rum Punch, which was adapted into Jackie Brown.
Yes.
Which was released the year before Out of Sight. So when Soderbergh asked Tarantino, like, hey, would it be cool if we used Michael for this? Tarantino not only said it would be cool, but like showed all of the unused footage.
Well, also, I mean, there's two different studios, and shepherded the, you know, the way that this was able to happen across two different studios. Two different
studios.
It's I'd say that like Michael Keaton appearing in both movies is among the more famous aspects of, I'd say, Out of Sight, not so much Jackie Brown, but like it's one of the things that seems to come up the most when most people talk about Out of Sight.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's like, it's a surprise. He didn't get paid for, he didn't take any pay for it. He came in, did it as a favor. And it was cool, especially because Jackie Brown came out, I mean, like 6 months, 6 to 7 months before Out of Sight. So here's a character that you're already familiar with.
Right. Well, and this is okay to get a little bit deeper into, you know, the world of indie film directors around that time or before this time. You know, Soderbergh, even though he didn't have a lot of success between Out of Sight and Sex, Lies, and Videotape. Sex, Lies, and Videotape in 89, like really like burst the doors open for people like Tarantino.
And he put Miramax on the map
totally
with that.
And yeah, so without Soderbergh, Tarantino, who recognizes this, like, you know, he understands, you know, I wouldn't be here without Soderbergh in one way.
Right.
And so it's kind of a great way to show appreciation for the people who kind of carved the path a little bit.
And additionally, and I'm double checking this right now. Oh no, I don't. I was gonna say, because Jersey Films, which Danny DeVito, Stacey Sher, Michael Schamberg, Jersey Films produced Pulp Fiction. I was not sure if they produced Jackie Brown as well. Because they also produced Out of Sight.
Oh,
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
it doesn't. I'm not seeing them listed as producers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But going back to, Out of Sight and Soderbergh, and Out of Sight kind of being Soderbergh's like first success after his first success. He had a lot of ones that just didn't take off in between. I think there were like 4 other movies maybe in between, maybe 4 or 5. And Out of Sight for him was, his way of proving himself again. And I also was reading a little bit about how it was a bit of the same for George Clooney too, who was still trying to shake being just a TV actor.
Oh,
and just having been in Batman and Robin, which people were, shitting on him for the longest time, to have a movie like this, which like reintroduces George Clooney as like a good, legit actor, is kind of amazing. And I love that. And it's such a damn good movie and so much fun. And there's just like electricity coming off the screen the entire time. You can't take your eyes off of it.
2000%. And I want to come back to the old, because this is also the first collaboration between Clooney and Soderbergh. In fact, Clooney was contracted to do the film before Soderbergh was. Mm-hmm. And I want to come back to that, because this is a creative collaboration that just, pays dividends in terms of both like artistic value and commercial value. Thinking forward about the Oceans franchise, but also like Solaris, and other things. But so Soderbergh had Sex, Lies, and Videotape, and then these other movies that I've never seen. Kafka.
I haven't seen any of the
King of the Hill, which I remember like those movies being like, like art house. But then there's the Underneath. I don't remember that at all. Schizopolis, I remember hearing about, but like,
I remember that one. Yeah.
Never saw that. He worked as a producer. He worked as a co-screenwriter on the movie Night Watch with Ewan McGregor, but it's not until so. But then it's like, it's interesting because he's doing all these like more independent and I guess kind of artistic. I can't say because I haven't seen them. I think The Trial definitely is more on the visually interesting side from what I've seen of it. But I think Out of Sight, and he doesn't really talk on the commentary about how he got the job, but it was just perfect. Like, he hadn't really dealt with like the kind of criminal element before.
Yeah.
And you could see, because after that he does Out of Sight, The Limey, Aaron Brockovich, but Traffic, Ocean's 11, all these movies that involve a lot of like intrigue and dealings around the law. Whether it's something more like Traffic, where it's dealing with the war on drugs, or any of the Ocean's heists, or the Limey, which, man, John, have you seen The Limey?
It's been a while. I want to watch it again.
I watched it again.
Really liking it.
I watched it again not too long ago. I mean, not necessarily in prep for this, but more just because, damn, like, I really remember loving The Limey and thinking that's like, it's another one of those movies that you're like, another 1999 banger.
Yeah, totally.
But now Out of Sight.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Out of Sight. I was going to say Out of Sight. Soderbergh like really found his voice, and nobody, including like the studio, expected it to be as popular as it became. I mean, the studio, they released it in the summer, and it's like such a weird summer movie.
But this is, to your point,
yeah,
this is something that it made me think about, because back in 1998, this wasn't like, it wasn't uncommon for a movie. Like, yeah, this feels like a fall movie. This feels like an October release, But
Yeah.
if you think like summer of 1998, you had movies, you had like Bulworth came out, another great Don Cheadle performance there.
Yeah.
In Bulworth, Saving Private Ryan. This was back when you did have a lot of like big prestige movies coming out as summer. I don't know that Out of Sight was necessarily touted as a summer blockbuster. Like you said, you're working with an actor who's not fully established as a leading man, a director who's not fully established as a commercial director. I feel like maybe J-Lo's kind of got the most like.
I mean, she had just done Selena,
right? She's got Selena and Anaconda.
And and Anaconda, but I feel like critically she had a much bigger splash with Selena, although a much literal splash with Anaconda. And then like the other actors that you have in this movie, Michael Keaton aside, of course, but like maybe the most famous to that point was or successful, I would say, is maybe Ving Rhames. Because like Don Cheadle still hadn't like really broken through. Steve Zahn hadn't broken through.
They were all, it's that guy. So like with Ving Rhames, you either knew him from probably from either Pulp Fiction, Con Air, Mission Impossible, but you're like, oh, it's that guy. With Steve Zahn, That Thing You Do. I mean,
That Thing You Do.
Maybe. Wait, he was also in Anaconda. Shit.
Was he also in Anaconda?
Wasn't he also in Anaconda? Isn't he the camp?
I'm not remembering him. I mean, Eric Stoltz is in Anaconda.
No.
Ericonda?
Ericonda. My Ericonda don't want. Maybe I'm wrong.
Zahn.
Hold on. Hold on. I think I'm wrong. Steve Zahn was not in Anaconda. I was confusing him with Owen Wilson.
Oh, okay.
Because Owen Wilson plays a Steve Zahn-esque character.
So, I mean, Reality Bites was a big one for him. Crimson Tide, Suburbia, That Thing You Do. And then in 1998, he had 4 movies. You've Got Mail, Safe Men, The Object of My Affection, and Out of Sight.
Safe Men's good.
And then 99, he has another stack of 4 movies. Forces of Nature, Freak Talks About Sex, Happy Texas, and Stuart Little. And then just like, damn, like 2001, he had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movies. Like, dude doesn't stop, and he hasn't stopped, and everybody is loving him now more than ever.
I mean, maybe. I mean, I would argue that it's still for Steve Zahn, like comes back to like this movie and That Thing You Do. He steals every scene he's in.
Well, That Thing You Do is absolutely fantastic, and he's so great in it. But like his when the first season of White Lotus came out, I feel like there was like a big resurgence of fandom for Steve Zahn.
He was in that.
And yeah, he's so good. And then there was
there was that Vietnam Rescue Dawn. I heard
Rescue Dawn.
Never saw it, but I heard he was amazing in that.
Yeah, he's great in Rescue Dawn. He also, and even though you wouldn't be able to see him, but I think it was War of the Planet of the Apes, he had a really fantastic role. I mean, it was a voice role.
Oh, right. Yeah, yes.
He was very, he was exceptional in that as well. Anyway, Steve Zahn is great. And in Out of Sight, he's a lot of fun too. And he's so perfect for the role.
Perfect.
Yeah. And similarly, like Don Cheadle, you know, he was around, but it wasn't
he was that
until
Devil in a Blue Dress
shortly after.
Like Devil in a Blue Dress was really I think that put him on the I'm trying to remember like where else, because that
Boogie Nights.
That was the first Boogie Nights was like I think Devil in the Blue Dress was the first thing I saw him in, but then Boogie Nights I think was kind of like the biggest. That's where probably most people would have known him from going into this.
Yeah, you know, we love Don Cheadle, and
Steven Soderbergh clearly loves Don Cheadle.
There were some. That's very true. There were some moments in Out of Sight where, you know, Don Cheadle would have a line that would just make me like bust out laughing.
So anyway, I want to go. So Don Cheadle has my favorite. Is part of my favorite exchange in the movie, which, by the way, was pointed out in the commentary as being Soderbergh's like favorite scene, and is something that is entirely Scott Frank's. Scott Frank added a lot to this movie. Added so much to this.
Well, tell me what that scene is, and then why don't you do a little synopsis?
They're in the prison library.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's
all
the one
you
that
need
made
to
me
hear,
laugh
right?
The hardest.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
what is it like? Reading is fundamental, and we just got carried away.
Reading is fundamental and shit. No, my favorite line, and because I was the last time I watched the movie, I had the commentary. I didn't get the whole thing, but the part that I'll remember is when he says, he might fall on something sharp, like a shiv or my dick. And Albert Brooks it's that line, and then Albert Brooks's reaction to that. Priceless.
Yeah. And Albert Brooks, also just absolutely amazing. And I love him in this so much.
And you have Scott Frank to thank for that, because Richard Ripley is only mentioned in the book.
Oh, really? That's great. He's fantastic. And when you first see him and he's like bald, I wasn't expecting that. And it took me by surprise. I love when Albert Brooks is doing like more serious roles. Even though this is still not like a super serious dramatic role, but like
Drive was really
Drive definitely.
Departure.
Yeah,
this is a step towards that.
It's a real acting role.
Yeah, but he's great. He's perfect.
All right, Dan, hit us with a synopsis.
Here we go. Jack Foley, a Miami bank robber turned prison escapee, is headed to Detroit for a revenge-inspired heist, but struggles to shake the U.S. Marshal who's hot on his tail. What makes this particular Marshal more difficult to evade is his undeniable crush on her. And for U.S. Marshal Karen Sisko, catching Foley is a unique challenge because aside from robbing banks, Foley has also stolen her heart. George Clooney plays Jack Foley. Jennifer Lopez plays Karen Sisko. We've got Ving Rhames as Foley's buddy. Steve Zahn as Glenn. Don Cheadle as Maurice Snoopy Miller. I've got a lot of actors to run down here. We've got Albert Brooks as Richard Ripley. Dennis Farina as Karen's father, the ironically named Marshall Sisko. As Adele, Jack Foley's ex-wife. Catherine Keener as Kenneth, who's
Catherine Keener, right?
Maurice's girlfriend's brother, Kenneth. We've got Isaiah Washington. Luis Guzman plays Chino, one of the other escapees from Glades prison. Viola Davis, who in the 1999 commentary saying, this is a great actress, Viola Davis. Like, they're introducing us to her, and it's like, man, I know that now.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah, you know what else is wild is friggin' like Nancy Allen popping up.
Nancy Allen's so
as good. Midge, the Ripley's maid and lover, and then uncredited cameos by Michael Keaton as Ray Nicolette, and as Samuel L. Jackson as Hajira Harry, the convict who Foley is transported with at the end, who notoriously has escaped from 11 prisons. Yeah. And while
we'll get to that.
Okay, all right, because that's also not in the book, but they do talk about where that came from.
Okay, well, when we get towards kind of the end of everything, we'll talk a little bit more about that.
But yeah, but that's like it's like a last, like the movie's over. You love the movie at this point. You already know it's great, and then they throw you a little Samuel L.
Well, and what's so great about the ending, which we'll get to, but like it leaves it with a little bit of ambiguity, and the fact that Samuel L. Jackson is placed in this role where he has a line, it just makes it stick with you even more. Before we get off of the cast much further, I know that we're talking about how great Dennis Farina is, and he is, but I don't buy him as J-Lo's father. I know that like it's possible for her mother to like have influenced her genetics, but like Dennis Farina and she don't seem to share like any DNA. If it was like, I don't know, I don't know, some other kind of family dynamic or stepfather or something like that, it would have not stood out to me as much. But
I don't know. I feel like it's
don't
not, for me, it's not, there's like, it's that momentary, like, I don't look at these two and right off the bat think father-daughter, but
I think that a lot of it also has to do with the fact that when I see him, I just think Chicago and they're in Miami, and it's like, it seems weird to see him in Miami and connected with somebody who feels like would be authentic for Miami.
That's because you did not watch Get Shorty within a close proximity of watching Out of Sight, in which case you see Dennis Farina in Miami as a gangster.
Well, fair enough.
I don't know.
Fair enough.
I don't, you know what? It's kind of, I feel like, okay, so for me, where my mind makes it make sense is just the large number of organized crime figures who might be based in Chicago but are overseeing operations in, like, those are when you think of the cities in the United States most closely and prominently associated with organized crime, it's kind of New York, Chicago, Miami, then LA.
Vague areas of New Jersey.
Well, New York encompasses that because that's the New York families, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, Chicago, the New York metropolitan area, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami.
But it feels like there's a lot of, I mean, like even in like Godfather Part 2, they go to Hyman Roth, it goes down to, you have like a lot of like, especially older gangsters, but they have a lot of operations down there, and it's probably a little easier to, to pay your way around some laws.
Sure. Well, but in Out of Sight, Dennis Farina's character, the point of him isn't that he's in law enforcement for organized crime.
Right. No, he's not. He's anymore.
Karen Sisco's dad.
Yeah.
Anymore. Right. Yeah.
He had been in law enforcement. Yeah. You lose some of the backstory about how she got into law enforcement. I think you get enough. I feel like the movie gives you.
I don't need any more than what I have.
No, I mean, but like that, he started he went from being in law enforcement to being a private detective, and she worked for him. I think there's enough of that where, like, when I read it in the book, it wasn't like, whoa, that's different. It was more just like, oh, I don't think they ever said that explicitly.
Nor do I think they need to.
No.
I really. I feel like with her, she's established when we see her on her birthday having lunch or whatever with her dad, and he gifts her this gun, and you get a lot of who this person is just from kind of that exchange. And when we see her again at the prison break, and then the subsequent iconic trunk scene that establishes the absolutely bananas chemistry between George Clooney and Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, God, it's off the charts.
It's like it doesn't really matter. You buy into her as a marshal, and you get so much out of her character where it's just like cool under pressure, not freaking out in a very dangerous situation, has her wits about her, like at every step of the way. And then as it develops, she's also a human being, and understanding the chemistry that she has with this criminal is just such a brilliant layer that just makes this movie stand out from so many others that are like it. And I know that certainly other actors could have played these roles, but like I'm so glad that other actors didn't play these roles because the two of them are just so good.
Yeah, and there is there is no discussion on the commentary. They barely talk about Jennifer Lopez on the commentary
Really?
track. Yeah, I mean they talk about like they don't talk a lot about like what she contributed or what I get the impression that perhaps they did not creatively jibe. I also got the impression that Steven Soderbergh definitely jives better with men. In terms of like the way that he was talking about his creative collaboration. He didn't, I mean, of course he did this commentary in like late 98.
Right.
He talks about prepping the Limey. So,
well, and I'm sure also that like Jennifer Lopez's career beyond just acting, I don't know, we weren't on the set, so it's hard to say, but it's like, this is somebody who's very busy in the late 90s.
Right. No. And this is kind of my complaint about the commentary is that because she is so good in this role and so assured and comes off with the confidence and poise of a Faye Dunaway in 3 Days of the Condor, which is, I love how they talk about
easy. Yeah.
That. And it's kind of what I love about them discussing that. And it's in the book, but it's also one of those, like, obviously in this movie, we're kind of like, it's that similar vibe. Soderbergh has that sort of like 70s cinema mentality. Lean into it. Another great thing I love about that trunk scene while we're at it, and this is something that's also carried over well by the book, is it's where Foley is smart, but there are certain things about Clooney's portrayal that still clue you off that, like, okay, this guy's still a criminal and he's a little bit of like, he's not the most cultured person in the world. It's when he's quoting Network and he's like, yeah,
misquoting
Network. He's like, yeah, I like that guy who didn't want to take any shit anymore. He's like, yeah. I'm mad and I'm not going to take your shit. I love it because it's one of those, it's one of those quotes that people tend to, if they don't know it exactly, they at least get it closer than that. Like, he didn't even get totally. Mad as hell and not going to take it anymore.
Yeah. I mean, that whole trunk sequence too, where it's like, they both have like kind of their end game in mind. And they're kind of catching each other off guard a little bit. And even though he's, holding her hostage, and trying to get through that, he's kind of maybe stumbling on his words a little bit and not able to recall exact movie quotes because he's a little distracted, by all of the things that are going on, including the fact that he's in very tight quarters with Jennifer Lopez in, the late 90s.
They're in a trunk of a car. Nothing is going to nothing is going to happen, but the tension is there and they're selling it so well. And there's backstory, and I forget if it makes its way into the movie, but backstory about I think they do mention it in the movie where like she was dating a bank robber and she didn't realize he was a bank robber.
I feel like I remember a mention of that.
I'm pretty sure when I read it in the book, it was not unfamiliar to me. But there's that, like, it's that history of not necessarily that she gets fooled, but like that's like she's attracted to that type. And like you see him, and then you're mentally, like, you never see them in the same scene, but you're mentally comparing him and Keaton. My God, the two Batmen.
Right. Yeah.
Or two of the Batman.
Right.
So, but like, you're just comparing them in between Keaton. I love the thing with him in the FBI t-shirt and, and how Farina.
Kevin that says undercover on it.
Oh God. And just talking about chemistry, it's a different kind of chemistry, but the tension between him and Farina is so good.
It's so good.
But Keaton kind of comes off like a someone who's playing macho, or at least like that's the way that the interaction with Farina makes you think of him is that he's like kind of, and I think like to Keaton's credit and Soderbergh's credit, it is exactly how he plays him in Jackie Brown as well.
Yeah.
And it's just here he looks goofier because of that comparison with Clooney.
Well, also in Jackie Brown, if I'm remembering correctly, I feel like I think I watched it within the past year, but it's been a little bit of time. But if I remember correctly, all of his scenes or most of his scenes predominantly are like at the police station or like, he's doing police business. And so like I think of him like in like interrogation rooms and things like that. And then in this, he's in his girlfriend's apartment where her dad is, and her dad clearly knows that like isn't Ray like married?
Yeah.
And yeah, so he's married. So yeah, so there's already just like layers upon awkwardness, and it's just like he's out of what I would consider to be his element of like doing police work and being kind of this hot shot, investigator, FBI guy.
There's an imposter syndrome thing going on there.
Oh yeah. But I love it. It's so good. And Michael Keaton's the best.
It's great. There's just the right amount of bluster to him. And yeah, it really is one of the great Michael Keaton characters, Ray Nicolette.
So good. Of so many.
Oh, I mean, yeah, but not the first that one would often mention when we talk about the great Michael Keaton performances. I don't feel like Ray Nicolette is the first or second, third, or fourth.
I think it depends on who you're talking to.
Possibly, yeah.
Yeah.
Who else would come up for Michael Keaton if you're like, okay, what's your favorite Michael Keaton performance other than like Batman, Beetlejuice? Like, are you going to go to Birdman?
I don't know if that's like anybody's favorite performance of his.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm just trying to think of like what, like Mr. Mom.
I mean, The Paper.
He's great in The Paper. Yeah,
but I don't know if I would even still call that like my favorite.
But do you remember? Can you remember off
the other guys?
Can you remember off the top of your head his character's name? And Henry, right? Henry something in The Paper.
Sure.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Exactly. Great movie. Love the movie, but like Ray Nicolette. So Michael Keaton.
Well, in Batman and in Beetlejuice, the name of the character is the name of the movie.
Good point. Yes. Easy to, yeah, but you have to remember Bruce Wayne.
His name isn't like Paper Johnson or something in The Paper. So there's that.
Come on, Babalu and Lowell. What were you thinking?
Yeah. However, the character, Ray Nicolette is that's an easy to remember character name if you're a Michael Keaton fan, because like, I don't know, it has this ring to it. It fits the character so well. It's in 2 movies. So there's that.
It's also interesting because isn't she?
I guess in Mr. Mom, his name technically isn't Mr. Mom, but
no, again, though,
anyway.
Don't remember what it is. But also it's interesting because when you see
his name is Steve in Multiplicity.
Oh, right. Yeah. Steve.
And I only know that because of the 3rd version.
Yep.
The second copy. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
no. Yeah, absolutely. No. But and interestingly, we do see Karen Sisco chewing Nicorette gum.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know that there's any intentional. There's nothing on the commentary about that. Nothing in the commentary. But so coming back to like that scene where that establishes her getting the gun, that's a scene.
Mm-hmm.
So her getting the gun from her dad is referenced in the book. The scene isn't in the book. There are a number of scenes that Scott Frank added, and it's because like Scott Frank is not the first person that you like think of with this movie, but I think he really did a great job taking this book and making this movie work because you have this great cast. So why not have these characters interact in the movie or in the book? Foley never interacts in prison. You only see Foley interact with, when they're at Lompoc in the California prison, I think only with Buddy and Glenn.
Oh, really?
He does not, you don't see him interact with Snoop, I think, until Detroit. Also, and I don't think it's not necessarily specified, nor, actually, no, never mind. So that one, Ripley, you never see Ripley, period, but there's no discussion of his having ever talked to Foley.
No, what they did with the movie totally works. The way that it's structured, having the setup for Snoop is a lot of fun, and seeing kind of his character development, because you do see him and you see how dangerous he can be, and you also see how I don't know, not menacing he can sometimes be. When they're robbing Ripley's house and he's like, trying on the clothes and stuff, and
right.
I don't know. There's something about it where it's just like you see him in more ways than just a guy who shivs people in prison and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. But in general, the danger element of a lot of the characters is toned down. And I think to the benefit, I don't think it, like Kenneth, especially in the book, is...
Which one is Kenneth?
Kenneth is Moselle's brother, Isaiah Washington.
Okay.
He's
right.
the other
okay.
guy who
Got
goes, so it's Maurice, White Boy Bob.
Right.
Kenneth is the other guy. In the book, Kenneth is constantly on like meth.
Oh boy.
And is really violent and threatening. It's really uncomfortable, the stuff with him and Midge, the maid, who in the book,
sure.
Midge is there with the like teenage boy that Ripley hired to watch his house. There's also no diamonds in the book. The book.
Oh, the diamonds are fun. I mean, I feel like this kind of set up a love affair between Steven Soderbergh and diamond theft.
Yes. Yeah. But the whole thing with like the diamonds and the fish tank and all that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, well, moving on from like adaptation stuff in the book, just kind of focusing just on the movie as a movie. I love the way that it's structured. I love that it bounces around in time a bit. And there are certain moments where maybe you're not sure exactly when in time you are, and then it catches up to an earlier time, and
or if something is happening for real or imaginary. There's a dream. There's one dream sequence which I very much enjoyed. I thought that was a really awesome scene. I haven't watched this movie in a really long time, and so when it was happening, I had forgotten that it was a dream sequence, and it took me by surprise. And then it was just like, oh yeah, of course that would be a dream sequence. Come on. So I have a question for you. When you watched this movie and you were watching the first scene where Clooney's going to rob the bank, the first time he flicks the lighter, did you have flashbacks of every Universal DVD you ever watched? And the whole little like when DVDs were new and they was like Universal. And it's like they have like it always started with that shot of Clooney with the lighter.
That's so funny. I hadn't thought of that, but now that you say it, absolutely.
I mean,
yes.
Yeah, it's what I think about. I'm like, how many times did I watch a Universal DVD that had that? And the first thing you see, I don't remember, like there's shots from Jaws in that montage, but the first thing is Clooney with the lighter.
Hey, you know what? Whoever was putting that package together, good job, because that's such a cool shot. And in the context of Out of Sight, it is such a great way of just setting up how like cool of a customer Clooney is.
Oh yeah.
And we see him at an unsuccessful bank robbery, but then we are informed, oh, no, he's actually really good at this. It's just that this one, didn't even we discover he didn't even plan this one out. It was just very spur of the moment.
Well, and the robbery itself was successful. It was just...
The robbery itself was successful, yeah, and it's not giving anything away to explain how it wasn't successful. When he gets to his car, the car won't start.
Right.
And it's very satisfying.
And props to the actress who plays the teller. They talked about her. She was a local.
They talk about her, but they don't talk about J-Lo.
No, they talk about her because she was a local actress and she really, but for that first scene, she was just the right actress to show how Foley, how that character's charm could work on people, and also how slick he was. With that whole robbery and you see that guy, that's my partner over there talking to you.
Yeah.
It's so good when he pops over at the end and says something to her hey, she's cute, isn't she?
Yeah. Well, also, and I'll probably play this clip at the very top of the episode, so listeners will have probably heard it, but the whole thing that he does when he's speaking to the teller, he's so cool, so calculated. And then afterwards she says, thank you. And it's oh my God, he just robbed her. She was so scared, but he was so cool with it. And I think that maybe he says have a nice day or something. And she says, thank you.
Just the impulse, because he's being friendly. So she responds the way that she would to anybody else who's being friendly, except he's robbing her.
And so
robbing the bank.
Good hire on her. She was very good.
Yeah. Right. It's a great scene. You see and it's something that's really fun about the character that the movie just does an amazing job with, is showing how he is really calm, cool, and collected, but it's not things go according to plan. I mean, even the whole Detroit thing, he and Buddy are constantly maybe we should get out of this.
It's a mess. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. And honestly, it's home invasion theft isn't really his specialty. So, I mean, it's a revenge mission. They're doing this to steal from Ripley because Ripley, basically insulted him by offering him a security job rather than something that was a legit job.
Right. And then, he kind of insults him by saying, what did you expect? You're an ex-con.
Yeah.
So, and I know you don't want to talk the adaptation stuff again, but again, because there's no diamonds in the book and they're just hey, we're going to break into this guy's house and rip him off. Foley's reasoning for doing it is because he's never done, none of that shit with the bank or him getting offered the job by Ripley or anything happens in the book. His motivation is something new.
Interesting. No, I'm glad that he has the motivation. There's he knows about these diamonds. He has been slighted by Ripley. Mm-hmm. They're doing a long con with him in prison. Not necessarily knowing that there was going to be this kind of revenge mission going on, but it's really wonderful. And also to go back to Steve Zahn, the way that his character comes in, before you even see him, you kind of hear this exchange between George Clooney and Catherine Keener, and they talk about I'll punch him in the face with his sunglasses on, and it's just if he shows up with his sunglasses, I'm going to do, and it's just then you see him and he just looks like such a douche with his sunglasses on.
Such a goon.
And you are just set up before you even see him for a second of just oh boy, who's this guy going to be? And of course it's Steve Zahn and he's brilliant.
I'm looking right now because I'm so curious to know who won because I know Scott Frank was nominated for an Academy Award for adapted screenplay. Yeah, Gods and Monsters won. Okay, which I've never read Father of Frankenstein, which it's based on, but I mean, yeah, I can't speak to anything else, but like, you know, it's rare. It's rare when you can really say that a movie adds on, because what it loses from the
Yeah.
book isn't really like lost.
Right,
It's still
sure.
implied.
No.
It's still understood. And
Yeah.
what's added makes it so much richer.
No, it's a really enjoyable watch the entire time.
And that, by the way, includes the ending, because
Sure.
so the book just ends with her talking to her dad on the phone.
Okay.
And her dad just, and she's saying like, yep, he's gonna, he's gonna have to go back down to Florida. And her dad's like, yeah, wouldn't it be something if they sent you to get it? Because the whole thing is how she knew like Glenn, because she transported him, and like prisoner transport was something she did. And it ends with her saying he knew what he was doing. Nobody forced him to rob banks. You know the old saying, don't commit the crime if you can't do the time. That's the end of the book.
Mm.
And the movie, I love, and Elmore Leonard was on set talking because they were talking. They were like, we got to figure out this ending. And Elmore Leonard was just talking about like, yeah, this one con who had broken out of all these prisons, and then they were like, that's it, and we need to just show a little shot of J-Lo in the front, kind of smirking, like, yeah, I put the two of you together. And
right, yeah. So we've talked a lot about kind of the beginning of Karen and Foley and kind of the spark between them, but we haven't really talked too much about like how their relationship, you know, develops throughout the movie. I mean, we talked about the dream sequence that she has, in which she catches him, and instead of arresting him, they, have a little passionate time there.
Little tubby time.
Yeah. But there's, aside from just kind of like the chase, there's this great scene where he's inside of an elevator and she's in the lobby of a building, and the elevator door opens and they see each other, and they just don't move, and he just like waves at her and she waves back, and the doors close and he disappears. And oh God, that scene is so good.
It nails so much. It tells you so much, and exactly as written in the book.
Okay. But like, it so effectively captures the sense of like your heart stopping when you just see something, and you just like are so flummoxed you don't know what to do. But like,
his little wave is so
the little
cute.
wave is amazing. Yeah.
And his reaction afterwards, that like,
yeah, absolutely. It's really delightful. And then, as when they connect together, and they kind of have this evening where it's just like, we're pressing pause, we're doing a timeout on this chase and anything having to do with like who we are. We're just gonna be people for an evening, and they spend this time together at this hotel. And the editing, which was this also nominated for editing?
Yeah.
Lost
to Saving Private Ryan.
Okay. Yeah. The editing of this scene is so good, going between the two of them having a drink at this bar together, and the two of them in the hotel room. It's just like, oh my God, Soderbergh, what are you doing to me, man? And then, when they kind of resume real life, you're all just kind of like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, we have to go back to this now. It's so good.
No, yeah, and it is like that whole time you understand that like this is temporary. At midnight the coach turns back to a pumpkin.
Right.
But they have they have that, and yeah, the intercutting, it just sets the movie apart from other movies that might be, and that's I think what Soderbergh does with a lot of that. Is one of Soderbergh's gifts, is he takes what could be run of the mill standard genre stuff and makes it interesting and gives it something more, and impacts how an audience experiences it. rather
Yeah,
than just giving
absolutely.
them the standard beats. The like, okay, I'm here for a, cat and mouse, romantic chase thriller, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the scenes where they are actually together are all just so fantastic. And then you've got this entire other movie
Mhm.
built around it. And both are satisfying separately, but then when you smush them together, it's just, oh my God, it's so good. I know that we probably still have so much we could be talking about, but we have passed the hour mark. So at this point, I do want to mention that there is. Hold on,
Yeah.
Dan. There's one other Elmore Leonard, I guess, adaptation, or I guess work that's being done in this world, and that is, of course, the Karen Sisco television series starring Carla Gugino and Robert Forster is also in it, and Bill Duke.
Mhm.
And it was canceled after 7 episodes. It was for ABC back in 2003. They aired the final 3 episodes in late night during the spring of 2004. Ugh.
Yeah. I know.
I watched the opening credits and it was like, whoa, tonally, this just feels wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just felt really strange. And it was kind of going for like I don't know. It was almost like an entourage-y kind of a vibe in a way. Yeah, it was like just like flashy and this cool Miami cop
Oh, so
kind of a thing.
it was just kind of like taking like Elmore Leonard probably just like collected a paycheck and did nothing
Yeah,
more
I
with
think
it.
that he had some involvement on it, but I couldn't tell you exactly how involved.
I don't know that I don't think
yeah.
I don't think she was featured in any of his other novels. Again, I haven't read any of his other novels, but
So, all I can tell you is what's on the Wikipedia page for Karen Sisco. Gugino appeared as Karen Goodall in the 2nd episode of the 3rd season of Justified, which is also based on a work by Leonard.
right.
There, the character had been promoted to assistant director in the Marshal Service and had married and divorced, taking and keeping the last name Goodall. The name change was necessary as FX did not own the rights to the Karen Sisco character or her stories. So I don't know how involved even he would have been in a particular episode of Justified in the 3rd season, but it's, in the Elmore Leonard universe.
But for perhaps from the Justified source material, which I have not looked into.
I mean, I don't know, in the 3rd season of Justified, who knows?
Yeah, but I don't know.
Somebody
maybe
knows.
in the book. I just don't remember coming across anything about her character coming up again. I am interested in reading more Elmore Leonard. Like Out of Sight was a fun, quick read.
Mm-hmm.
So like I'll probably check out Get Shorty and kind of see what's in there that's not in the movie.
Well, Dan, I texted you a picture of this, but yesterday I was at this bookstore here in Portland called Wallace Books. And Dan, you would love this place. It is a house that's been converted, and it's been around for a long time, but it is a, new and used bookstore. And it's the kind of place where just like every inch of this place is just covered in books. There's, a set of stairs and there's just books stacked all over the stairs. And there's like, all of the shelves are kind of just like bowing down with the weight of the books on them.
Nice, as
and
well they should
you
be.
have to like, and you have to like pull out the books from a row to see the books that are behind it.
I mean, as well
because
they shouldn't be.
just have
People
so-
should be buying those books and reading them.
Right. Yeah. And I sent you a picture of this bin that they had of just, Elmore Leonard books. I think it was shared with another author, but
Like it was like Harlan Ellison under that or something. It's like
something like
one
that,
of those
yeah.
other like
And,
crime. Yeah.
Yeah. I think,
Carl
clearly they're
Hiaasen
paired together for a
perhaps.
reason. But for some of these, like, well-established authors, sometimes they just had like a crate where it's just like packed with their books. It's so I don't know, cool.
I mean, there's
And
so many
it's the kind of
printings
place where,
and-
Dan, we
yeah.
have to go there sometime because I know you'd love it and just get lost in there and find a lot of good gems.
Definitely, I'd get so much stuff that it would just sit on my shelf just to be there for me to see the spine of it.
And you know what? That's where I picked up a couple of new movie tie-in novelizations.
Oh,
and
yeah.
it was, at a place like that, it's all about the hunt because they're not categorized as, like a, section for like movie novelizations. So it's like, oh, let's go into like the science fiction and the mystery section and poke around and see, read all of the spines basically.
And it is hard to, I mean, we've talked about your collection on here before, right? That's
a collection that is, small but growing.
I'm so excited to give you the one that I found for you.
I'm excited to get it.
Yeah. I did try looking in Seattle, West Seattle specifically, Pegasus, new and used books. Yeah, is wonderful. So I was definitely combing through their shelves. Hard to find the adaptations that are not just like the source material repackaged.
Oh yeah.
But
Right.
I did find a good one for you. I'm very excited. I'm looking at it right now.
Excited. Yeah.
It's looking at me. Okay.
So Dan, we just talked about, the one piece of media that is, continuing the story of a character in this. But it seemed like you had something else that you might have wanted to bring up before we get on to what we would do with the
Nope.
Great. So Dan, what would you do given the opportunity or the mandate to resurrect some sort of out of sight material?
Yeah. So a couple of ideas because we've got a lot of great characters that clearly have both pasts and futures that we could get into. So
Sure.
I think that especially if you could get Scott Frank on board to write. I don't know that I think like you would need to generate new material. I'm pretty sure Elmore Leonard passed away a few years ago.
Yeah, I think so.
But I would say, especially if you could get Scott Frank or somebody else who really could write Elmore Leonard.
Yeah. He passed in 2013, by the way.
Okay. So a little bit more than a few years ago. Somebody who could, so if you get Scott Frank, Soderbergh is not a make it or break it, but it'd be great to have Soderbergh back and to get Jennifer Lopez back. And, as a U.S. Marshal, like, it's not like Karen Sisco's life is just going to get boring after this. Like, there's more.
No.
I mean,
yeah.
But also she perhaps merits more than a short-lived early 2000s TV series. Maybe,
Yeah.
I mean, not that TV isn't an option because we've seen how cinematic TV can be and how it can help grow stories like this and build off of characters. I'm less interested. I'm more interested in a Karen Sisco follow-up. I'm less interested in a Jack Foley follow-up. I am somewhat interested in a Jack Foley prequel. That would be a character who would be interesting to find that character, 20, 30. The character is written, he's like 47 in the book. So you get him, 30 years earlier. And what's that like? I don't think that's as interesting as, another case. Because the thing about following Karen Sisco is it can be totally different. A U.S. Marshal, especially because you're going to do something that takes place many years after this, especially because I don't think it's worth doing if you're not going to bring back J-Lo. And
sure. Yeah.
And also I mean, I didn't see Hustlers, but by all accounts,
it's good.
She that was kind of a comeback acting performance for her. She's always someone who I felt in terms of acting a lot. I think there's a lot more potential in her as an actress And I think a lot of the Jennifer Lopez in movies that we've seen is Jennifer Lopez, the movie star.
Right.
And I would love to see her. I'd love to see, come back an old, Karen Sisco in her 50s. And like, where is she? What's her? She's obviously not doing the same things. So what is she doing? We can tell other great stories, but I think like they would need to be told with that Elmore Leonard voice and vibe.
Yeah, totally.
So I don't just want to see like, I'm not like, oh, hey, Prime, do the Karen Sisco series.
I know.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. I see what you're saying. However, I feel like with where Out of Sight leaves us, because it is implying something that we're not seeing, and to follow up and learn any bit of what actually would have happened, because we are led to believe that that Foley is going to be breaking out of prison with the assistance of Samuel L. Jackson, and then Foley and Karen would have some sort of, another opportunity to, I don't know, cross paths. And I felt like that was kind of a reason why she was doing it, because like, she knew that she needed to catch him, but she loved chasing him and having the opportunity to kind of like have this, I don't know, this dalliance with him. And so to me, I felt like she was setting him up to escape from prison also so that she could chase him again.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I don't read it as that. I read it more as that, like, she knows the type of person he is, and she respects him and likes him enough to know, because he says he's not going back to prison. He doesn't want to go back to prison. That's why he wants her to shoot him when he comes out in the mask. And like, he's thinking she's going to shoot him dead, and she doesn't. But to me, it feels more of a gesture of friendship and mutual respect. And I get that there's that chemistry between them, but I don't see them getting married and like living together.
I don't think that they need to get I don't think they need to get married. I think that she just needs to be chasing him.
Right. But
like, I think that there's something. I don't
see her doing that.
No,
30 years
Dan,
later.
Right. But Dan, I don't know, but I feel like there's something about ending her story and ending both of their stories with the, letting your audience kind of decide what they want to with their future is kind of a special thing, because for me, even though it would be an unsustainable way of living your life where you are constantly, chasing down a thief, knowing that eventually you're going to have to catch him, otherwise you're not doing your job. But like, that to me seemed like that was something that was driving her, was, this person who just completely takes her breath away in these moments where they run into each other.
Well,
and
but also
I would never say that they would, leave their lives and get married and do something. That doesn't track for me, but it's like, maybe they're not the type of people who want that.
No, but also maybe this movie does pick up with the two of them, and maybe he does break out of prison, and maybe he doesn't call her, maybe because he knows she's going to chase him. Maybe he disappears for 25 to 30 years, and our sequel, maybe it picks up with them reconnecting.
Well, but what I'm saying is, I like that as an audience, we can decide in our minds.
So you just don't want to see anything past this.
I don't want there to be any kind of like stamped seal of approval. This is picking up. It's like, I like that this leaves the audience to imagine their own version of what works for them for the future. And that's what I think is so great about that ending, is that, it gives the audience something more to do with the story. should they choose to go on that mental journey. And that's why it's like, and to your point earlier, I think that, yes, a Jack Foley prequel could also be really interesting. He's certainly lived, many years, evading the law and robbing banks, and who knows how he got into it. And that's always something that's, fun to kind of pick up on, or, whatever. I think that when you do a prequel about a criminal, you know what their fate is going to be at a certain point. So there's not so much of a danger of just like, oh, I hope he's going to get away at this point or whatever. But it's like, oh, well, I know that he's going to prison at least,
Right.
A couple of times and everything.
And it's pretty clearly established that none of the characters in this necessarily go back to the pre-prison days. He meets Buddy in prison. He meets everybody in prison. So there's really nothing of his. I mean, there's Adele, but I think by the time he gets together with her, he's already robbing banks.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
by the way, I also have to mention Catherine Keener is so good, and
we didn't talk about
and it's
her.
so funny because like she is playing so against what I'm used to seeing her playing. The types of roles that she plays usually have more, I don't know if I would call her unintelligent, but like she usually plays more savvy characters.
You don't associate her with floral prints.
No, not at all. And so it's fun to see her doing something completely different than what I'm used to seeing her do.
Yeah. She's
always great.
Yeah, right. Yeah, she's usually some more in that like I don't know, I want to say assertive, but like that.
I mean, being John Malkovich, I think is a good standard
Death to
for
Smoochie.
kind of her Death to Smoochie, big time for sure.
Yeah. But like that type of role. But she's great here. I love Catherine Keener.
Oh,
and the choice of her drinking Diet Dr. Pepper is so there's something about it. It's just so spot on with like just everything where you have the image of her. She's got the cigarette and the Diet Dr. Pepper and the whole bit with her being the magician sidekick. Man, even just like that image, just the image, you can just look at that image and you kind of get a sense of who that character is.
Right. And Catherine Keener just has like a great look in general. There's no one else who, I don't know, looks like her, has the kind of vibe that she gives off. Like she's a truly unique, actor, and to do this role, even when we are so used to seeing her in other roles. I mean, she hadn't done those other roles at this point, but
this is
she's just fantastic. So hats off to Catherine Keener. But I will go ahead and share what I would do with Out of Sight, and that would simply be to do a graphic novel adaptation.
Oh, yeah, that would be cute. It'd be fun.
Because like I said, I don't want a sequel. I like us all to be able to imagine what we want to imagine. Prequel, it's like, I don't know if I wanted to do any prequel, it might be Snoop's character, like the character of Snoop, not Snoop, the actor. But Don Cheadle's character, I'd love to maybe, because it'd
be an interesting boxer. Too. Yeah, totally. Be an interesting character to look into. Yeah.
So like that's the only one who I think that I would care to see, a story about that young life. Not that we'd have Don Cheadle playing the role. That ship has long sailed, but but he establishes such a great character in Out of Sight, and certainly something that could be picked up on. I mean, like, I'll say it again, like to have a character who's so just like evil at his core, but so funny. It's just like
I guess that would be kind of better fodder for a prequel. Is like, like how does this guy get to be so evil?
Yeah.
Because you want to like him.
Yeah.
Kind of want to like him.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So good. Well, for all of our listeners, and if you're viewing on YouTube or Spotify, hey, this is what we look like. Feel free to shoot us an email, ruinchildhoodspot@gmail.com, and let us know what you would do with that of sight, given the opportunity. Or perhaps one of the other 292 movies that we've covered on this show so far, which, damn, Dan, we're really up there in the numbers. I can't believe it. I recently was looking through all of our old episodes because of weird admin reasons for running a podcast. And there's some movies where I'm just like, I forgot we did that. And I can't believe we did that. Like, it's like, oh, wow, we really did Feds that early on.
Oh,
huh?
yeah. Oh, yeah. We did. We must have been doing a theme month or something. Like,
I honestly don't even think so. I think we just wanted to do
we
it.
just did Feds, but
Yeah.
I'm glad we did. No,
I'm so glad
there are
we
some
did.
great ones. There's some hidden gems in there. I think of Gabriel Over the White House as something that I had never heard of, and
Gabriel Over the White House, which was part of a theme month, was so much fun. What a fascinating movie.
yeah. I mean, among others, but that's one that
Among
really
others,
stands out. Of like, never heard of this movie before. Really was really The Man.
Well, that was part of that same series of
the
film fictional presidents.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
James Earl Jones.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe for some people, our next movie will be one of those.
Ooh, tell us what we're doing.
We're doing 1995's Nick of Time, directed by John Badham and starring Johnny Depp, Christopher Walken, Charles S. Dutton, Roma Mafia, Marsha Mason, Gloria Rubin, and of course many others. But that's our main featured cast there.
Yeah.
Nick of Time.
Well, I'm so excited. That movie is definitely worth talking about. There's so much to talk about there. Email us ruinchildhoodspot@gmail.com. Leave us a review, leave us comments on all the things. We really love to hear from you. It's always so much fun. And Dan, as you are being transported from one prison to another by U.S. Marshal Karen Sisko, I wish you a good journey.
Good journey.